Hello and welcome back, everyone, to the Grow Everyday podcast. This is our special space where we can talk, share, and grow together every single day. Have you ever been there? You're in a conversation with someone, maybe a close friend, a family member, or a colleague, and you're sharing something really important. It could be a story that fills you with joy or something that's been weighing heavily on your heart. But as you're talking, you get this feeling that their eyes are somewhere else. Their mind is drifting away, or maybe they're just waiting for their turn to speak. That feeling, it can be a little lonely, can't it? Now, on the flip side, have you ever felt that incredible feeling when someone is truly, deeply listening to you? When they make eye contact, nod along, and ask questions that make you feel like, wow, they actually get it? That feeling is so warm and so powerful. In a world that's constantly buzzing with distractions, from the endless notifications on our phones to the million thoughts racing through our own minds, one of the most vital skills seems to be getting lost: the skill of listening. Studies have shown that we, on average, only remember about 25 to 50% of what we hear. That means more than half of the information is just vanishing during our conversations. So today, I want to invite you to explore the secrets of active listening. This isn't just about hearing the words someone says. It's about listening to truly understand the thoughts, the feelings, and the meaning hidden behind those words. This skill is the key that can unlock better relationships, more effective teamwork, and most importantly, our own personal growth. In this episode, we're going to dive into three main areas. First, why is active listening so important? What is the hidden power of being a great listener? Second, we'll learn how to tune in, preparing our mind to listen. And finally, we'll cover some practical techniques you can use to show someone you're truly listening. Are you ready to grow this skill together? If so, let's get started. Before we get into the how, let's build some inspiration and talk about the why. Why should we invest our time and energy in practicing this skill? What does active listening really give to us and the people around us? 1. It builds deeper, stronger relationships. This might be the most important reason of all. Think about it. When someone gives you their full, undivided attention and hangs on your every word, how do you feel? You feel valued. You feel like your story matters. And most importantly, you feel safe to open up and be vulnerable. Active listening is a non-verbal way of saying, you are important to me, and what you have to say matters. This builds trust, closes emotional distances, and strengthens the bonds in any relationship, whether it's with friends, partners, or family. 2. It reduces conflict and misunderstanding. So many arguments and conflicts start from simple miscommunication. We might misinterpret what someone says, or we jump to conclusions based on our own biases without hearing the full story. Active listening helps us overcome this. It forces us to slow down, to listen to all sides of the story, and to try to understand the other person's reasoning and feelings before we react. When we truly understand where they're coming from, we might find that we don't disagree as much as we thought, or we can find a win-win solution much more easily. 3. It makes you a better problem solver and leader. In the professional world, the ability to listen well is one of the most critical traits of effective leaders and teammates. Imagine being a manager who truly listens to your team. You'd understand the real challenges they're facing. You'd receive brilliant new ideas you might have missed, and you'd create an environment where everyone feels comfortable speaking up. As a colleague, being a good listener helps you collaborate more smoothly and solve problems more effectively because you're working with complete and accurate information. 4. It helps us grow and learn from others. Finally, active listening is a gateway to endless learning. Every person we meet has a unique story, different experiences, and valuable life lessons. By opening our minds and listening without judgment, we get to see the world from perspectives we've never considered. We can learn from their successes and their mistakes, applying those lessons to our own growth. It's an opportunity to develop our intelligence and our emotional intelligence at the same time. You see, listening isn't just about being polite. It's an incredibly powerful tool that can elevate every aspect of our lives, our relationships, our careers, and our personal growth. Now that we see the big picture, I hope you're feeling inspired to start practicing.
All right. Now that we understand the importance of being a good listener, the next crucial step is to prepare ourselves from the inside. Because before we can show someone we're listening, our mind has to be genuinely ready to listen. This can be the most challenging part, but it's the heart and soul of active listening. Tip number 1, be present. In our digital age, distractions are everywhere. Just having your phone on the table can be enough to pull your attention away with a single buzz. The first step in preparing your mind is to choose to be 100% in the conversation. How to do it? Before a conversation begins, try silencing your phone's notifications or, better yet, put it away in your bag. Take a couple of deep breaths to bring your focus back to yourself and the person in front of you. Tell yourself silently, okay, for the next 15 minutes, I am going to give my full attention to this person. This simple act clears mental space and prepares you to receive new information. Tip number 2, listen to understand, not to reply. This is the most common trap we all fall into. Have you ever done this? As soon as a friend starts telling you about a problem, your mind is already racing. I should give this advice. I'll share my own similar story, or I'm going to argue that point. When we do this, we completely miss the important details they might share later on. How to shift your mindset? Try changing your goal for the conversation. Instead of thinking, what am I going to say next? Shift your goal to, how can I understand their story and feelings as completely as possible? Just by changing your internal objective, your focus will automatically shift from waiting for a chance to speak to absorbing as much information as you can. Tip number 3, suspend judgment. We all come from different backgrounds with different beliefs, values, and life experiences. It's natural to disagree with what others say or do. But being a good listener means being able to temporarily set aside our own opinions and judgments. How to practice? When you hear something that clashes with your own views, instead of immediately thinking, that's wrong, or I would never do that, try to approach it with curiosity. Ask yourself, why do they think this way? Or what experiences have shaped their perspective? Keeping an open mind, like an empty cup, allows you to truly hear a different point of view and understand the person on a much deeper level. Tip number 4, activate curiosity mode. Imagine you're a detective or an interviewer on a mission to uncover a fascinating story. Curiosity is the perfect fuel for active listening. How can you do this? As you listen, try to pick up on keywords or emotional high points, topics they emphasize or seem particularly passionate about. Listen with the intent of asking good follow-up questions, not questions to test them, but questions that show you're engaged and want to know more. For example, could you tell me a bit more about that part? It sounds really interesting. Or, how did that make you feel at that moment? These 4 internal preparations are the foundation of becoming a great listener. It's the inner work. And once you get comfortable with it, the external actions we'll talk about next will become much more natural and authentic. Once our mind is ready, it's time to focus on our external actions. Because even if we're listening intently on the inside, if we sit there with a blank expression, the speaker might feel insecure. Showing that we're listening sends a clear signal that says, I'm right here with you. Keep going. I'm listening. We'll break these techniques into 2 main parts, nonverbal cues and verbal cues. Part 1. Body language. It speaks louder than words. Research suggests that as much as 55% of communication is body language, 38% is tone of voice, and only 7% is the actual words we use. So our body language is incredibly important. Natural eye contact. Making eye contact shows that you're focused on them. This doesn't mean you need to stare them down, which can feel intimidating. It's perfectly natural to briefly look away to think and then re-engage. Keep it relaxed and comfortable, just like you would with a close friend. Nodding and facial expressions. A simple nod every now and then confirms that you're following along. Your facial expressions should also match the tone of the story. A smile when they share good news, or a look of empathy when they're talking about something difficult. This shows you're emotionally engaged. Open posture. Pay attention to your body. Are your arms crossed? This can signal that you're closed off or defensive even if you don't mean to be. Try to maintain a relaxed, open posture. Leaning in slightly can also show enthusiasm and interest in what they're saying. Part 2. Verbal cues. To confirm you understand. Beyond body language, using small verbal cues can make a huge difference in making the speaker feel heard and validated. Paraphrasing is incredibly powerful. It involves summarizing what you just heard in your own words. This does two things. It confirms that you understood correctly, and it proves to the speaker that you were paying attention. For example, okay, so if I'm hearing you right, the main issue at work is a breakdown in team communication. Is that correct? Or, so it sounds like you're feeling both exhausted and a little underappreciated at the same time. Asking clarifying questions. If there's a part of the story you're unsure about, don't be afraid to ask for more detail. Asking specific questions shows that you care about getting it right. For example, when you said you couldn't handle it, could you give me an example of what that looked like? Or who else was there when that happened? Reflecting feelings. Sometimes a person doesn't need advice. They just need someone to understand how they feel. Reflecting their emotions back to them can be incredibly validating. For example, that sounds incredibly frustrating. Or, wow, I can imagine how happy you must have felt. Using minimal encouragers. You don't always have to wait for them to finish a long thought. Using short, encouraging phrases can prompt them to continue. Simple words like, I see, okay, or go on, all act as green lights that say, I'm following you, please continue. These techniques might seem like a lot, but you don't have to master them all at once. Start by picking one or two that feel easiest for you and practice them. Like any other skill, the more you practice active listening, the better and more natural you will become.
And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the power of active listening. We've explored why being a good listener is so crucial, not just for building strong relationships and reducing conflict, but as a powerful tool for problem solving and our own personal growth. We've learned how to prepare our minds by being present, listening to understand, suspending judgment, and staying curious. And finally, we've covered practical techniques, both nonverbal and verbal, to show the people in our lives that we truly care. I want to leave you with one final thought. Being a good listener doesn't mean you have to agree with everything the other person says, and it certainly doesn't mean you need to have the perfect solution to their problems. Sometimes the greatest gift you can give someone is a safe space to share their feelings without fear of judgment. That right there can be more than enough. Thank you so much for tuning in to Grow Every Day. I hope today's episode has given you some useful inspiration to apply in your daily life. I'll see you again on the next episode. Until then, keep growing every day. Goodbye.